Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is Bryce with Soiree Sounds. Today I'm going to be talking about how to start a DJ business and the steps I followed in starting my DJ business. So I've created a list of 12 separate points that I followed and that I recommend for any business to follow. And I've used these points, these action items for a few other things that I've started a nonprofit group here in Jasper. But here's the list. I'll link it right. So we're going to start with number 1, naming your business and buying your domain. Very important first step. Naming your business is really hard. Most domains are taken and it's very easy to think of a generic name, especially for a DJ name. So first you're going to want to kind of think about what your business does. What does a DJ business do? So you're going to try to encapsulate the name somewhat, the service that you're offering in your name. So for me, Soiree Sounds. Soiree is a random word, but sounds tells my customers that I provide sound. Sound is in my business name. Then for another word, so you're going to want to provide 2 words typically, or if you can get one word that encapsulates what you do and a unique name. The other word is unique. Try to find something that's catchy, unique, or is a synonym for another word. Try to use something that's popular in another language or it's easy to pronounce. Soiree is not the easiest to pronounce, but it means party, house party in another language. That's why I used it. And alliteration is very helpful too. So 2 S's, that's kind of where I found my logo. I wanted an alliteration so that I can have a logo that was kind of compact, modern, and sleek. And then buying your domain, I recommend Bluehost. Go to google.com/domains and you can search for domains that are taken or what's available. And typically you could find a domain for less than $10 to host. The next important step is incorporating an LLC to avoid personal risk. You can set it up through doing business as and a pass-through entity, which is what I have mine set up. I do have some subcontractors that I hire out, but I just pay them as subcontractors through my pass-through entity. The third step is setting up a bank account. This is very important. You want a business bank account. Input the amount required, the minimum amount required. It might be $500, it might be $100, depending on what bank you go to. Mine was $500. Deposit $500 in that bank account. Get a debit card to use for that bank account, and use that money. Use that bank account only for business expenses. Do not use it for personal reasons. Step number 4 is going to be to get a logo from Fiverr.com. That's where I got my logo. I paid $7 for it. I think it looks perfect for what I use it for. They'll give you several proofs of it, different media items to use for it. And this is important for a later step. Maximum budget for that is $10. Step number 5 is get a uniform, a polo or a button-down long sleeve. I'm not even wearing my uniform right now, and I should be. I have a couple polos and a button-down long sleeve that I have. Embroidered, maximum budget for that would be $40. You can get it at your local embroidery shop or printing shop, and have them embroider your logo on one of the chests. You can do this with a shirt you already have. For instance, if I wanted to have this one embroidered, I could take it to my local embroidery shop and give them the correct format of my logo. Step number 6 is to get a headshot wearing your logo or near your equipment. For this instance, a headshot in your uniform near your DJ equipment would be very helpful, but just wait. I have not mentioned buying DJ equipment yet because I did not buy my DJ equipment until I had my first booking, which I think is the correct way to go about to see if there's a market for a service. Step number 7 is to customize your website that you bought. When you named your business, I recommended buying a domain with that business name. Make it short, not too long. You don't want to have to remember a long domain name. So customize your website with your media and your logos. And You want to model your website based on a competitor in a different city, that looks like they're very sophisticated. So I did this myself, and it took me probably over 30 hours to customize my website, just because I am absolutely clueless when it comes to web design. But I learned it on the fly, and I learned it as I went, and it's actually a very helpful tool. It's not professional. It's not super professional. It's not super elegant. It's not top state of the art, but it gets the job done. It gets the point across. Whenever someone gets on your website, make sure you have a homepage, a pricing page. You don't have to include your pricing, but I do on my page, about us. And you want someone to read the about us page and really root for you as a small business owner. And then a contact us page with all your contact info. And if you're able to embed a kind of a message center, that'll go straight to your inbox. So step number 8 is to set up a Google account. Gmail with your with your business name in the Gmail, a Google My Business location, and a Google My Business account, which is very important, because this is how most people will find you, by searching on Google, and Google will then rank you in the local area based on how much time you put into your Google account. Make sure everything syncs together. You will want to use Google Drive for documents. I use that for my contracts, but also for my wedding DJ timelines, any other documents that I list, some playlists that I send out as a template. I send that through Google Documents. I could PDF things that way. You also want your Google account for YouTube, so that you can cross-link and embed separate accounts through that. And then also you can use your Google account for AdWords to run advertisements. Step number 9 is to either use QuickBooks or thoroughly understand where you're spending your expenses, and have a spreadsheet, an active working spreadsheet, just a way to track your expenses. I use QuickBooks. It's one of the simplest and easy ways for me to keep track of where all my spending and budgeting is going. Number 10, to use a payment platform instead of accepting cash or check. I do accept check, but do not accept cash, because if you get to a point where you have subcontractors and any other employees, then there's the chance that cash can go missing. I haven't had this problem, but down the road, if I don't know somebody and I'm subcontracting them, it's going to be you don't want cash. And then it also adds the fact that you have to deposit the money into the bank account, which is another step that's unnecessary. So use a payment platform. I recommend Stripe. Step number 11 is to get insurance on your business. I have general liability insurance. It's not very much a year. It's like $300 a year, and it's $1 million coverage, $1 million policy that covers me in the event there is any accident to any venue or any guests for up to $1 million. Peace of mind, helps you sleep at night, and I recommend it. A lot of venues nowadays require it for any vendors that are coming into their facility, so you might need it anyways. And last but not least, number 12 is purchasing your equipment. I do not recommend purchasing any equipment until you have your first booking, if there's enough time. If you want to go ahead and buy your equipment, then go ahead and buy your equipment without any bookings. But I did not book I booked my first event after I had already done all those steps, and my first event was 2 months out. So I went and bought all of my equipment. When I got my first booking, it was 2 months away, so I had plenty of time. Some of it I bought, like the lights and stuff, some of the stands, tables on Craigslist. The electronics and everything I bought brand new, just because I knew I wanted to scale this business and keep it around. Some things to think about, and some very important things to remember when you're starting a business or a DJ business is do not compete. If you want to have a business in the long run, do not compete on price, compete on value. Add value to the service that you're providing. That's what I have done. I try not to compete on price. I started out lower price because I was brand new, and I really wanted to learn the ropes of everything before I raised my prices. But now I'm raising my prices to the area average, and I compete on value. I feel like that I add a great value by planning with the couples and providing excellent customer service and an awesome, unique experience at the wedding receptions. And play the long game. Do not plan on just running this business for a year or two. It takes a little bit to get going, and I'm now 3.5 years into this business, and I create a 5-year plan, and that's how you'll find success. Do not plan on a short year, and then not pursuing the business anymore. Play the long game. It'll pay off. Don't let your emotions make your decisions. Make your decisions based on what's beneficial for the business, not on how you're feeling at the moment. And set your goals with a timestamp. So set reasonable goals with a timestamp and try to get them done within that timestamp. And then you'll find yourself on the path to success. And work as quickly as possible and avoid distractions. Distractions could be going out with friends and whatnot. Sometimes you have to make a sacrifice in a small business. A lot of Saturdays if you're a wedding DJ. And keep it simple so that down the road, if you need to, you could hire somebody to do a task that originally you were doing yourself. That's all I've got. If you like this, please like and subscribe, and please share if this will help you or someone you might know in the DJ business or any other entrepreneurial venture. I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for tuning in.